Life is full of challenges and choices. Sometimes, love and loyalty are tested by those who only see wealth and status. But never forget, true happiness comes from the heart, not from money or titles. Always stand by the people you love, and be brave enough to follow your own path. Please do me a small favor, hit that subscribe button and join our family. Your support means the world to me and helps me share more amazing stories like this with you. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's dive into the story. Ben was not just any boy. He was the son of Chief Tony, one of the richest families in Anambra State, Nigeria. Their house was not just a house, it was a mansion. Big gate, tall fence, flower garden, plenty of cars, and security men everywhere. People in the area always talked about how rich Ben's parents were. But Ben was different. Even though he was born into wealth, he didn't act proud or show off. He was humble, quiet, and very respectful. His parents had everything money could buy, but Ben had something more: a good heart. Every morning, the driver dropped him at school in a black beautiful car. He wore neat uniform, polished black shoes, and always carried new books in his bag. Other students admired him, some even envied him, but Ben didn't care about all that. He liked to mind his business. In school, he wasn't the loudest. He wasn't even the most brilliant in class. But he was kind to everybody. He would help his classmates do their homework. He shared his lunch sometimes. He greeted all his teachers with respect. Even the cleaners in school liked him. But Ben's parents had high expectations. His father, Chief Tony, always said to him, "Ben, remember who you are. You're a prince. You will take over my business one day. You must not mix with everybody anyhow." Ben would nod his head and smile. But in his heart, he didn't like that talk. He believed everyone was equal. Whether rich or poor, everyone deserved love and respect. That belief became stronger the day he met a small girl in his class named Priscilla. She came into the classroom late one Monday morning. Her uniform was clean but faded. Her sandals were dusty, and she looked shy and confused. The teacher pointed to an empty seat beside Ben and said, "Go and sit there." She walked slowly to the seat and sat down. Some of the children giggled and whispered. They were laughing at her. Ben heard one boy say, "Look at her slippers, like rubber from dustbin." Ben turned and looked at Priscilla. She bent her head in shame. Ben felt bad. He remembered what his father told him, that rich children should not mix with poor ones. But his heart told him something different. During break time, Ben opened his lunchbox. It was packed with fried rice, chicken, and juice. He looked beside him. Priscilla had nothing. Her stomach made a small sound. She tried to hide it. Ben pushed his lunchbox toward her and smiled. "You can share with me," he said. Priscilla looked at him with big, surprised eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. From that day, a quiet friendship started. At first, people talked. They mocked him. Why is Ben always talking to that poor girl? He's too big to be her friend. But Ben didn't listen. He liked talking to Priscilla. She was smart, funny, and very humble. Even though she didn't have much, she was always neat, and she answered questions in class better than most students. One day after school, Ben asked her, "Where do you live?" Priscilla smiled and said, "It's not far. Just behind the market." Ben had never been there before. That evening, he begged his driver to take him there. They stopped at a small mud house with a zinc roof. Ben came down and looked around. Chickens were running everywhere. A woman was frying akara at the front of the house. Priscilla came out, surprised. "Ben, you came." Ben smiled. "I wanted to visit my friend." Her mother was shocked when she saw him. She quickly wiped her hands and said, "Ah, good afternoon, my son. Please, come and sit." Ben sat on a wooden bench. The place was small, but it was peaceful. He liked the way Priscilla's mother treated him like a normal person, not like a rich boy. Ben started coming often. He would bring books, snacks, even small toys. Priscilla was always shy to collect them, but Ben insisted. Their friendship grew. They laughed together, studied together, and sat beside each other in class. People started calling them husband and wife in school, but they didn't care. Ben didn't know it then, but that poor girl with the faded uniform was about to become the most important person in his life. Priscilla was born into a very poor family in the same town where Ben lived. Her father was a vulcanizer, and her mother was a hairdresser who plaited people's hair by the roadside. They didn't have much, but they had love. Her parents worked hard every day just to put food on the table. Sometimes, They had no light. Sometimes, they shared one loaf of bread between 5 people. Sometimes, and they would place buckets everywhere in the house to collect water. But Priscilla never complained. She was always smiling. Even though her uniform was old and her shoes were worn out, she went to school every day. She was always among the first to reach school. She would sweep the class before anyone arrived. She respected all her teachers and helped other students with classwork. When she met Ben, she couldn't believe it. He was rich. Everyone knew it, but he didn't act like a rich boy. He talked to her. He listened to her. He even shared his food with her. At first, she was afraid. She told herself, "This boy is too rich for me. He will stop talking to me one day." But Ben didn't stop. In fact, he became even closer to her. He would walk her halfway home. Sometimes he would buy small snacks for her. He would even carry her books. The other girls in school were jealous. One day, a girl named Uju asked Priscilla, "What are you doing with Ben? You know he will marry someone like you." Priscilla smiled and said, "I don't know the future, but he's my friend now, and I'm happy." That was the kind of person Priscilla was: strong, kind, and hopeful. After they finished primary school, both of them passed their common entrance exams. They entered the same secondary school. They remained close, still sharing secrets, books, and dreams. Ben always told Priscilla, "I will become a big man, and I will marry you." Priscilla would laugh and say, "You better face your book first before you start talking about marriage." But deep inside, she was happy. She liked Ben too, and even though life was hard, he made things easier. In senior secondary school, things became tougher for her. Her father fell sick and couldn't work for a long time. Her mother had to carry all the load alone. They could hardly pay school fees. Several times, Priscilla was sent home for not paying her fees. She would cry quietly at home while watching her classmates go to school. Ben found out and begged his parents to help pay her fees. But they refused. "Why should we spend money on that girl?" his mother shouted. So Ben used his pocket money to help her. He would lie to his parents that he needed extra books or extra lessons, just to collect money and give it to Priscilla. She didn't want to collect it at first. "Ben, I can't keep taking money from you," she said. But Ben would smile and reply, "It's not just my money. It's our future I'm investing in." They both laughed. Then the time came for finally exams and jam. They both wrote the exams. Ben passed with flying colors. He got admission into the university to study business administration. Priscilla also passed well, but her family had no money for university. She cried for days. Ben visited her house and met her crying on a mat. She stood up quickly, wiped her tears, and forced a smile. But Ben saw her red eyes and sat beside her. "Priscilla, don't give up," he said. "You are too brilliant to waste away. Something good will still happen." Priscilla smiled. "I've decided to learn work," she said. "There's a woman not far from here. She teaches people how to do hair. We go and learn." Ben was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "Okay, I support you. I will help in any way I can." That's how Priscilla started learning hairdressing. Every day, she would go to the woman's salon. She would sweep, wash hair, clean rollers, and slowly, she started learning how to play, twist, and braid. Even though her mates were going to university, she didn't feel ashamed. She told herself, "My time will come." And Ben never stopped encouraging her. He would call her from school, send her small money, and even helped her buy hair materials from the city whenever he could. Their bond only grew stronger. People started noticing. Some even warned Ben, "Your parents will never accept her. Don't waste your love on a poor girl." But Ben didn't care. "I love her," he would say. "And I don't care what anyone thinks." Ben entered the university, and everything changed for him, but not his heart. He was now living in the city, far away from home, in a big campus filled with new faces and exciting things. Many girls were chasing him. After all, he was rich, smart, and good-looking. But Ben had eyes for only one person: Priscilla. Even though he was surrounded by plenty girls wearing makeup, fancy wigs, and high heels, he still missed the simple girl who plaited hair in the sun back in their town. He would call her every evening. "Priscilla, how was today at the salon? Did any customer complain? Have you eaten? How's your mom and dad?" Priscilla always smiled whenever she saw Ben's call. Even though her day was full of stress, once she heard his voice, her heart would calm down. Sometimes he would send her money. He would surprise her with small gifts: a new comb, new scissors, attachments, or even shoes. Priscilla started getting better at hairdressing. Her madam would always say, "This girl go far. See as she dey handle customer like say she done open her own shop already." Ben was also doing well in school. He was getting good grades. But more importantly, he started making plans for the future. He wanted to be more than a rich man's son. He wanted to become a businessman. "I will start importing goods once I graduate," he told Priscilla during one of his visits. "I don't want to depend on my parents forever." Priscilla looked at him with admiration. "I believe in you, Ben," she said softly. "You always do what you say." Ben reached out and held her hand. "And I will marry you, Priscilla. Nothing will stop me." That night, under the moonlight, they sat side by side like they used to in secondary school, talking about life, business, dreams, and children. Ben was now in his final year. Priscilla had completed her training. She was now a full hairdresser, and she had opened a small shop near her house. It wasn't big, but it was neat. She even got a small generator and posters with pictures of fancy hairstyles. Things were looking up. Ben called her from school. He sounded excited. "Guess what?" he said. "What?" Priscilla replied, laughing. "My father has agreed to sponsor my first import. I'm going to board a ship to China next month." Priscilla screamed in joy. "God has done it for you, Ben." Ben laughed. "God has done it for us." They spoke for hours. Plans were being made. Ben was preparing for greatness, and Priscilla was preparing for a better life. Then, something unexpected happens. 3 weeks after Ben traveled for his business trip, Priscilla discovered something. She was pregnant. She was scared. Her hands started shaking. Her heart was beating fast. She sat alone in her room and cried. What will people say? What if Ben's parents find out? What if he gets angry? After 2 days, she summoned courage and called him. Phone rings. "Hello, my love." Ben answered with excitement, but Priscilla's voice was soft. "Ben, I'm pregnant." Silence. Long silence. Then, "Wait, are you serious?" "Yes, I've checked. It's true." Then, something amazing happened. Ben shouted with joy, "Oh my God, Priscilla, you've made me the happiest man alive." Priscilla was shocked. "You're not angry?" "Angry? No, I'm proud of you. I'm coming back as soon as possible. But before then, take care of yourself and our baby." Ben sent her money immediately. He called her every day to check on her. He asked one of his friends in Nigeria to help rent a nice apartment for her in the city and bought everything she needed: bed, fridge, cooker, clothes. She moved in. When it was time, Priscilla gave birth to triplets, 2 boys and a girl. Ben laughed when he saw their pictures. "God has blessed me. Look at my babies. 3 beautiful children." After the birth of the triplets, she was now a mother of 2 boys and a girl. Her small hands were full, her eyes always tired, but her heart was filled with love. She looked at her babies and whispered, "You are my blessings. You are the reason I will not give up." Ben couldn't come back immediately. He was stuck abroad with business, but he was constantly in touch. He named the children himself. David, the first son, strong and sharp. Daniel, the second son, quiet but smart. Diana, the only girl, beautiful like her mother. Ben sent money for everything. Baby food, clothes, hospital checkups, and even a nanny to help Priscilla. He didn't allow her to suffer. "You're not alone," he would say. "Just hold on. I will be back soon." Priscilla's struggles. Even though Ben was doing his best, Priscilla still faced battles. People whispered behind her back. She done born for rich boy, yet no ring on her finger. She day chop bell money na sa she go end. Them never marry her oh. But Priscilla ignored them. She focused on raising her children. She stopped doing hairdressing for a while because the babies took all her time. But after 1 year, she went back to work, this time from home. Customers would come to her flat, and she would play their hair while her nanny helped with the children. Even though she was not married, she carried herself like a queen. Her dignity was still intact. Ben continued to assure her. "When return, we'll do everything properly: engagement, traditional marriage, white wedding." Priscilla held onto that hope. 5 years later, Ben finally returned to Nigeria. He had grown into a complete man, tall, confident, and wealthy. His business had boomed. He was now one of the biggest importers of electronics in Lagos. When he arrived at Priscilla's house, the children were outside playing. The moment they saw him, they screamed, "Daddy! Daddy! Daddy!" Ben knelt down and hugged them all. Tears rolled down his cheeks. My babies. You've grown so big. Priscilla came out slowly. She was wearing a simple gown, her hair tied in a net. She looked shy and overwhelmed. Ben stood up, walked to her, and hugged her tight. Thank you, he whispered. For standing strong. For taking care of our children. For not giving up. She cried in his arms. It was a powerful reunion. Ben took them to a better house in the city. A big one with a garden, playroom, and extra space. He started making wedding plans immediately. Everything was finally falling into place. Or so they thought. Ben was ready to make everything official. He had bought an engagement ring, called his close friends, and even started planning a traditional marriage. His heart was full of joy. Every evening, he would sit with Priscilla and the kids, eating together like a happy family. But there was one thing he didn't expect. His parents. One Sunday, Ben decided to visit his parents in their mansion. It was time to tell them the truth that he had 3 children with Priscilla and wanted to marry her. As he entered the big compound, his father was sitting under a shade reading a newspaper, and his mother was sipping fruit juice beside the swimming pool. Ben, our golden son. His father said happily. You are finally back. Ben smiled. He greeted them and sat down. After some small talk, he cleared his throat and said, Daddy, Mummy, I have something important to tell you. Go ahead, his mother replied, smiling. Ben took a deep breath. While I was abroad, I had a child with someone. Actually, I had 3 children, triplets, 2 boys and a girl. His mother dropped her glass. What did you say? And I want to marry the woman who gave me those beautiful children. Her name is Priscilla. There was silence. Then, thunder broke. What nonsense. His father shouted. A hairdresser? From a poor family. You want to disgrace us, Ben. His mother jumped in too. You mean after all we've done for you, you left all the big girls and picked a poor village girl to marry? Ben stood his ground. She stood by me. She raised my children. She's hardworking and kind. But the parents wouldn't hear it. She's not from our class. What will society say? What will the press write? You must marry someone from a billionaire family. Ben's heart was shattered. He never expected this. He tried to talk to them with respect, but they refused. If you marry that girl, we will disown you, his father warned. And forget about inheriting our company and properties, his mother added. Ben walked out of the house feeling like a heavy mountain had fallen on his chest. That evening, Ben sat in his car for a long time before driving home. When he got home, the triplets ran to him as usual, jumping and laughing. Priscilla came out, smiling. Welcome, my king, she said. Ben smiled back, but inside, he was broken. He hugged her tightly, not knowing how to say what had just happened. He finally opened up. My parents don't want me to marry you, he said quietly. They said they would disown me. That you're not from their class. Priscilla's heart sank. She sat still, silent. Her eyes slowly filled with tears. After everything, she whispered. After all these years, Ben knelt in front of her. I love you, Pri. I love our children. I don't care about money. But I need time to think. Please. Don't give up on us. Priscilla nodded. But deep down, her heart was breaking. After the heavy talk with his parents, Ben couldn't sleep well. For days, he avoided their calls. He didn't know what to do. He loved Priscilla with his whole heart. He loved his children deeply. But his parents were not just anybody, they were powerful, wealthy, and dangerous when angry. Still, he stayed close to Priscilla and the kids. He would take them out, buy toys, play in the garden, and even help with their homework. But something big was coming. Ben's mother came to his office without notice. She was wearing expensive lace, big head tie, gold jewelry, and held a shiny handbag. Ben, you are our only son. You will not drag this family name in the mud. Ben looked up from his desk. Mummy, please, I've heard enough. But she continued, I have found you a wife. Her name is Anita. Her father is a billionaire like us. She studied abroad. She owns a fashion company in Lekki. And she's beautiful. Ben stood up. Mummy, what are you talking about? She's coming to dinner tonight. You must meet her. If you don't come, your father will cut you off completely. Then she walked out of the office like a queen. Ben was speechless. Later that night, Ben drove to his parents' mansion. He didn't want drama. He would just show up and leave early. When he entered, he saw Anita, light-skinned, tall, beautiful, and well-dressed. She stood up and greeted him with a soft voice. Hi, Ben. Nice to meet you. Ben forced a smile. The dinner table was set like a royal banquet. They had different meals: pepper soup, fried rice, chicken, salad, and wine. Ben's parents smiled all through dinner. They watched him closely, waiting for him to fall in love with Anita. And Anita, she was polite, classy, and kept touching Ben's hand gently. But Ben's heart wasn't there. That night, Ben couldn't sleep. His mind was in pieces. Why is this happening to me? Why can't they just accept Priscilla? How do I face her? He felt trapped between two worlds: love and loyalty versus wealth and family pressure. He didn't want to hurt Priscilla, but his parents had made it clear. Marry Anita. Or leave this family. Back in the city, Priscilla started to notice the change in Ben. He came home less often. He looked tired, distracted. He didn't play with the children like before. One day, she asked him, "Ben, daughter, you okay?" Ben looked at her with sad eyes. "I'm trying, Priscilla, I'm really trying." She didn't ask more questions. But she knew. Something was very wrong. Ben was becoming a shadow of himself. The pressure from his parents was too much. Every time he visited them, it was the same thing. "Forget Priscilla. Think of your future. Think of our name and reputation." At the same time, Anita kept calling, texting, and even visiting his office with food. She was doing everything to win his heart. But Ben was cold. His heart already belonged to someone else. One Wednesday evening, Ben called Priscilla and told her he couldn't come home that night. "I have a business meeting with some investors," he said. But Priscilla knew something was wrong. She sat alone after the kids had slept. Her heart was heavy. What is happening to Ben? Is he tired of me? Is there another woman? Tears dropped from her eyes silently. She remembered all the promises he made when he was abroad. She remembered how he laughed when she gave birth to the triplets. She remembered his laughter, his hugs, his love. Now, everything was changing. 2 days later, Priscilla was braiding a customer's hair when one of her friends walked in. "Priscilla, I heard something." "Oh, what is it?" she asked quickly. "They say Ben's parents are planning his engagement party. To Anita, the billionaire's daughter." Priscilla dropped the comb from her hand. "What?" She quickly picked her phone and opened Ben's social media page. There it was. A photo of Ben and Anita smiling together at an expensive restaurant. The caption read, "Great to be building something special with a special person." Priscilla's hand shook. Her eyes became red. Her chest tightened. "Noon," she whispered. She left the shop immediately. Her heart was racing. She ran home, locked herself in the room, and cried until her voice was gone. The children knocked. "Mummy, are you okay?" But she couldn't answer. That night, Priscilla did not eat. She just sat on the floor, holding an old photo of her and Ben at secondary school. She whispered, "Why, Ben, why?" She remembered the day he promised her, "No matter what happens, I will marry you." But now, he was marrying someone else. She didn't sleep that night. She cried and cried until her pillow was soaked. At one point, she looked at her table and saw something sharp. A thought entered her mind. If I die now, maybe the pain will stop. But just then, her children started crying from their room. "Mummy, Mummy." That snapped her back. She stood up, wiped her face, and rushed to them. She hugged them tight. "I will not die. I will live for you. Even if your father forgets us, I will not forget you." But Priscilla had no joy in her heart. Her eyes were swollen. Her lips were dry. She sat on her plastic chair, staring at nothing. She still couldn't believe it. Ben, the love of her life, the father of her children, was preparing to marry someone else. "How did we get here?" she whispered. Just then, her closest friend Titi walked in. Titi was bold, outspoken, and always spoke the truth even when it hurt. She looked at Priscilla and gasped. "Ha, Priscilla, you've been crying like this since yesterday." Priscilla nodded slowly. "He's leaving me, Titi. He's marrying someone else." Titi pulled a chair and sat down beside her. "I know, I heard it, but you cannot die because of a man. Yes, Ben was good to you. Yes, he promised you marriage. Yes, you carried his children. But you cannot kill yourself because of him." Priscilla broke down again. "But Titi, what did I do wrong?" Titi hugged her tight and said, "You did nothing wrong. It's his parents. They want someone from their level." Priscilla nodded, then whispered, "So what will I do now? How will I raise these children alone?" Titi stood up boldly. "Let me tell you something. You are a mother, a warrior. You have hands. You have skills. You can do something great with your life. Priscilla, don't worry, I have a plan. The wedding hall was beautifully decorated. Guests sat patiently, waiting for the ceremony to begin. Ben stood at the altar, nervous but ready. Anita, his bride-to-be, looked radiant in her white gown. The pastor raised his voice. If there is anyone here who knows any reason why these two should not be joined in marriage, speak now or forever hold your peace. Silence filled the hall. Suddenly, from the back a loud voice rang out. I have something to say. Priscilla stepped forward, holding her triplets, hands tightly. The children looked brave as they stood beside their mother. Priscilla's voice trembled but was loud and clear. Please listen to us. This man, Ben, is my husband. We met when we were children. We grew up together. I had no money to go to university, so I learned to do hair to support myself. Ben loved me. He promised to marry me. She looked at the crowd, eyes full of tears. When I told Ben I was pregnant, he was happy. He took care of me and the babies. We lived in the city. We raised our triplets, 2 boys and 1 girl together. We are Ben's children. We grew up with love, even when his parents said we didn't belong. We faced hardships, but our father never left us. Now, on the day Ben is supposed to marry me as another woman, we stand here to say the truth. We are his family. The church was silent again, then murmurs and whispers began. Many guests looked at Ben's parents with anger. How could you reject your own son's family? How could you force this on Ben? People blamed Ben's parents loudly. Ben stood still, his heart heavy. Priscilla and the triplets held each other close, crying and smiling through the pain. The pastor lowered his head. The wedding was stopped. Thank you for watching this story of Ben, Priscilla, and their children. It shows us that true love is not about wealth or social class. Love is about loyalty, sacrifice, and standing by the people who matter most. Family. Sometimes, people judge others by where they come from or what they have. But the heart knows what is real. Ben and Priscilla's story reminds us to fight for what we believe in. And never give up on those we love, even when the world tries to keep us apart. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Let me know in the comments what you think about Ben's choice and what you would do in his place. Remember, love always finds a way. Thank you so much. Bye.